Rain's coming, but not today. It's going to be 70 degrees, and this is going to be actually my first fast group ride in quite a while. I mean, quite a while. I'm joining the Drew Crew Homie Ride. First thing I have to do is get to the start on time. As you can see, I did make it to the start with a couple minutes before we took photos before we took off for the start. Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. It seems like I haven't lost much since I come back from my injuries. In fact, I'm surprised by how well I am doing. The reasons to why that may be, we'll discuss that another time. I'm using this ride to determine if my perception is correct. One of the reasons that makes this a great ride for me, especially for my testing myself today, is that we have a wide range of abilities here. It ranges from your Mark Tuckers and VC Adventures all the way down to recreationals who want to give themselves a test. And testing is what I got to do. After we got going, we had a steady, keep it all together run up to the first stop. The stops that we had were pretty long because this was advertised as a regroup ride because of the varied abilities. After we started up again, the keep it together order was removed because soon thereafter we start up a wall, everything splits apart, and everyone is racing up the short climbs to what was going to be for many of the people in the group, the turnaround point. I had bridged up to Jimmy, and Jimmy pulled me up to the group that we're with now. And I'm going over this small climb, and it's not a long climb, but it's long enough because this gradient just doesn't agree with me. And it's always tough to get over this one. Now those guys that were in front of the guy with the white jersey, they didn't attack. They just went faster. And then we had this big gap. Jimmy, upon seeing that the white jersey is not going to be pulling him up to the breakaway, jumps and connects with that breakaway. I am thinking about it, but then I'm thinking, I still have a ways to go. There's harder sections to do. I'm just going to stay on this guy's wheel. Because I was concerned that if I tried to break away and get up to Jimmy and the others, that I wouldn't be able to make it. Just a little while later, after White Jersey Guy and I worked together, we made connection with the group that was in front of us. Just a bit after I can make that connection, we take that right turn and we still have a little bit of climbing to do. My effort still continues. I spoke before about a climbing section that just wasn't made for me. Well, this one didn't seem to be either. I usually crap out toward the top of this and slow to a crawl while I see the others just put distance on me. Once I get on this guy's wheel, I just stay there. I've used a lot of energy and there's still a lot of hard sections on this course today that I'm going to have to go through. And this is just the top of this climb. It's not the major climb. And after that major climb, there's a lot of little climbs. So on this descent coming up, I'm just going to ride wheels and then just wait for the next one. And the next one is the big climb. And the big climb in this case is 4 minutes. I wish I had power to show you. The reason I'm not showing any power is because my Verb Edit, which is a Garmin product, no longer displays any maps when one needs to sync one's power data to the picture. If anyone out there who plays with videos has any other products that I can use instead of the Verb Edit, please post it below. Okay, so we're starting on that 4-minute climb, and so I'm just holding it steady. Holding it steady in this case means me going as strong as I can, keeping it as even as I can to get to the top without dying out. As you can see by the insert in the upper right hand corner, these guys chased me down. I don't remember if I knew they were right there or not, but I do remember keeping my pace. That's George, who's leading the chase. He can drop me at any time. Actually, most of these guys can. Again, I wish I had power data because with these guys coming in the front, that gave me incentive and I upped my power. Not by a lot, because if I did, I'd redline and then these guys would be bye-bye. Right around that right curve is a straight, which leads to a left curve at the top. It seems I can't get any closer to 2 or 3 bike links to George. I have a couple riders to my right. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Double Century Gary comes from way in the back and takes the mountain. You remember that thumbs up guy? Well, that's Ernesto in front of me. After a few years, I'm glad to see he's back in town. Back in the day when he was on form, I had a hard time staying with him, even on the climbs. For the moment, we're evenly matched. So now we're working together, we're trading pulls all the way to the turnaround point. Well, the turnaround point for most everybody. There's a few of us that are going to go on. This part of the course all the way to the regroup point has nothing but ups and downs the whole way. There was no lollygagging here for us. I was just glad that Ernesto's a big guy. He was a good windbreak for me. We kept this pace up all the way to the camping area, and when we got there, we gave each other fist bumps because we couldn't say anything because we were gasping so much. Thankfully for me, the pace was more muted on the way back to the T intersection. At that T intersection, most everybody's going to turn left, and a few of us are going to turn right. I had a chance to chat with VC Adventures' Tyler Pierce. We talked about Achilles tendons, protein, magnesium, and strength training. He commented that even though he gained a lot of muscle and a lot of weight from that he's feeling a lot stronger, a lot more solid on the bike. That gave me an idea for another video I can do on why I feel so strong right now, unexpectedly. Once our conversation was over, he simply floated up ahead. Right now you're seeing us on the final section of the flats heading into the finish. When I turned right at the T intersection, I chased somebody down, but I couldn't stay with him. I let him go and my legs were reamed from the previous efforts. So pretty much I kept a steady endurance until I got to our last regroup point. After a little bit of rest and the fact that the return route was downward undulating, I was again feeling stronger. Everyone else in our now small group was pretty much stronger than I was, but I still was able to take my pulls. We quickly settled into some paceline work, at least until Will went to the front on this extended low-grade riser. Will is significantly stronger than I am. I'm now hugging my top tube, trying to get as air as I can just to survive to get to the top, which I fortunately was able to. I took another pull up a small climb, the others turned off, and it was just Will and I to get to the park. At this point, my legs were pretty much done. Before we got to that last little bump climb, Will called back, "Good riding with you, Steve. I'm going to take off right now." I had no qualms about that, and there was no way that I was going to try and stay up with him. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. And as always, you know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe, and share this. The Cycling Greek.